Do it. Do it.
Let's do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it. My sweetie, do it.
Okay.
Do it. Do
Welcome to NBNR, the authority on unfiltered opinions and authentic player insight for Nebraska athletics. Connect with us on Twitter, Instagram, and at NBNRPodcast.com.
We have a saying, no block, no rock.
You know, we just really love Utter. He's a junkyard dog.
Kenny Bell ran up to me. He's like, you know what you just did?
Get mad when you go get in the portal and go to another podcast?
You know, usually dumbbells are in pairs. They had 5 dumbbells.
Dang on it, Muhammad!
GBR.
Go Big Red indeed. No block, no rock. Season 4, episode 51.
That's a lot of episodes in a season, boys.
Yeah. Yep. Cam Jurgens episode coming at you from the
Ethan Piper on Cam Jurgens episode.
from the NBNR studio here in Omaha, Nebraska, 68128. Just real quick, fellas, seeing as Nebraska Brewing Company is one of our sponsors, let's get into what we're drinking here. Not all of us are drinking, but most of us are. Taco Veza. Kyle Byers, your second favorite beer? Taco Veza.
Taco Veza.
That's what I got. It's really good. It's 110 degree heat index outside.
It's probably like 71 in here, maybe 74.
Yeah. Well, listen, about 20 minutes, you'll be feeling a little different.
Yeah.
We're going to be kind of soaking in our seats here.
Hopefully not. I put the thermostat down to 68, so we'll see.
I just know during our Adrian Martinez interview, I'm like, bruh,
I was dying.
Same.
So hopefully this Taco Veza helps a little bit with that.
Yes.
Mike Delaware, what you got?
Since it is hotter than hell out, I do have Squeeze the Day, Nebraska Brewing Company's best beer to drink when it's hotter than hell out. So
it's nice and light. It's got some fruitiness to it.
Yeah, it's a fruity beer for a nice summer day.
It's got some fruitiness to it. Yeah. Just a little. just a zhuzh.
Just a zhuzh of lemon.
Just the tritz.
Connor, what you got?
I am enjoying what is one of the last, for now, cans of Pilsner.
Oh, like in existence. That you can get your hands on unless you go to like a local Hy-Vee.
Yeah,
and then buy it.
Good luck finding it in Hy-Vee at this point, honestly.
Okay.
It will be making a return like mid-August. It is coming back.
Just like, get your game right, bro. Let's go.
It is coming back. We got a lot of beer. We're making Wick for Brains right now.
Oh, that's the best beer.
You say that about like every beer.
Yeah, I don't know if you like pumpkin, but like I'm a basic bitch. I love pumpkin everything.
Hey, October's coming up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the best time of the year. You can drink pumpkin things and you don't get judged. It's great.
Yep.
Yeah. So all the tanks are being filled up with pumpkin right now.
That's when you know.
Wick for Brains will be here soon. That's why Pilsner is getting delayed a little bit.
When does Wick for Brains come out? Is it next week?
No, it won't be next week. So
how long until I can get myself a Wick for Brains?
Probably 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. 2 to 3 episodes. That's all I'll tell myself.
But it will be here soon. In the meantime, after today, I will likely not be drinking Pilsner for a little bit. I know you're very happy about that. But Kyle Byers, what are you drinking?
Anywho's.
Got the EOS Hefeweizen for obvious reasons because it's the best beer that you guys make. So that's what I've got.
German beer, right?
German.
It is a German beer. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
He could have put more, kraut on that Hefeweizen part. Like he says it, like he's Hefeweizen. No, Hefeweizen.
Yeah.
You got to say it with that extra.
It's meant to sound angry.
Got to say it with your chest.
The German language just sounds angry all the time.
Oh yeah.
Even when you're being polite.
Yeah.
It just sounds mean.
It's like, geez, chill. Like, damn.
You're welcome, I guess.
Yeah. I had Nuri was my roommate.
Oh yeah. You know a little bit about Germany.
Oh yeah, they would bring his family over and I didn't understand, but they sounded like they were mad at each other the entire time. So
why are you so mad?
He told me he loved me.
He just said hello. Jesus. So do you think they would have roomed you with Huffkin this German guy that we got coming, he probably would have roomed you with Hufkin because you're the German guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm Polish, so
Yeah, sure.
Dog.
yeah. Polish and
Literally.
Germans are basically what I grew up like. That's like I was telling Nuri, I said your personalities fit so much like Nebraskan because basically we just took all the German immigrants and just put them in Nebraska.
They threw them in Loop City, right?
Yeah, Loop City.
Why do you think Runza is the way it is? That's just straight German concoction
That is
right
awesome.
Yes.
there. Well, hey, the mystery has been, revealed. We have with us former offensive lineman, should have been single-digit guy.
Yeah.
Because you got voted for the single digit.
Should have been if there weren't those pesky
Yeah.
rules.
That's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, it's all good.
What single number would you choose?
I would have chose 0. I'd have been
That'd have been
taken away from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy would have fought you.
Yeah.
No, Nash.
God damn it, Nash.
Yeah.
Well, Tommy had it.
Tommy
then he
had it,
Another
yeah.
number and another number, and then he finally got to 31.
Yeah. Coach Rhule asked me about the single digit. And I was like, nah. I'm like, I like the number 57. That's what they gave me, and I'm just gonna stick with it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is that the number you rocked the whole time?
the entire time.
Yeah, because I know you're a big 71 guy, right?
Yeah, in high school.
Yeah.
That's another. So like both times I got my jersey, I had no choice of the number because I've never been like a number guy.
Well, you're an offensive lineman.
Yeah, it's like you go out there and it's like the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and they all look about the same. So
it don't matter.
Did you?
They're not cool.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about going after Hines for an NIL deal? You'd be Hines 57.
I know. No, that's a good idea.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking NIL back in my day. So.
You got Hines 57, and then I think isn't the equivalent Dorothy Lynch?
Dorothy Lynch.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go like
So-
A1.
Hastings,
know.
Nebraska, right there.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. This is Ethan Piper, by the way. We never said his name.
Yeah, we
Ethan
probably should do that.
Piper.
Welcome.
Hey, so this weekend, we get a visit from a 5-star offensive lineman. You got Donovan Raiola saying, "Husker fans, come on down.
Oh yeah.
We need you." Do you wish you would have gotten that kind of fanfare on one of your visits?
No. First of all, I came from like a class of like 30 kids. So I grew up Catholic and I was like this small church boy. So I was like my experience, like the culture shock when I went to Nebraska.
That was quite the culture
it was
shock
quite
for
the
you,
culture
right?
shock. So if people would be showing up, if people have been showing up, I've been like, what the heck is going on? So
You want to shit your pants?
yeah, probably. So soiled them. So
He's proper. You just hear it. He's a Catholic boy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
College really was an eye opener for him.
It
Yeah,
was.
sure.
Yeah. There's a lot going on there. So.
sheltered to
Oh,
just
yeah.
people like kissing your feet and begging you to come here. Please, Ethan.
Oh man,
We
it
love
was,
you.
It was weird. Like I was so just a little bit about my story. I committed in my band class.
While you were
I
in
sent the
band
tweet
class?
in my
What instrument did you play?
tuba and trombone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which were you better at?
Tuba. I was terrible at trombone. I was the entire time I had no idea what I was doing, but I'm like, this sounds awesome, so I'm just gonna go with it. So but no, my high school experience was a different one than a lot of other football guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was band, show choir.
Walk on?
No.
No, it's full scholarship.
Full scholarship.
Full scholarship.
I was Scott
They
Frost
seek
first
you.
commit.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's right. And did he come to your Catholic school and come get you?
Yep. He came into my social studies class. So I went down there and I was Coach Beller, Jeff Beller. He still coaches there and had him. And I'm like, we're going to go up because I'm like, they got me out of class. I'm like, if you're going to come see me, you're going to see my class too. So because everyone's like, Scott Frost. That was the time like everyone.
Oh, yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
We had the Frost effect.
Kiss his feet kind of guy.
Yeah.
So many Frost Effect shirts going around.
Yeah.
Dude.
You probably had 5 classmates in that class alone wearing that shirt at that time.
Oh yeah. He came in and I
Frost
think,
Advisory.
like it was like the clashing of worlds. Like that's just like we're a C1 school and it's like, what is going on? So
What I guess I want to jump back to you send your commitment tweet while you're in band class.
yeah. So Sam Hahn, we were talking about Sam Hahn before.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was my band teacher. She used to play in the marching band.
That
So
is
she-
incredible.
Yeah.
That there's 2 Sam Hans, by the way, guys.
Yeah. Two
Yeah.
Sam Hahns. Yeah.
The religious NBNR people are going to be like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
say she?
Yeah.
No, different Sam Han.
Yeah.
He said she, and I was like, Wait.
Yeah, he wasn't.
I didn't know this.
No, he didn't know this. He wasn't here for that conversation.
What?
Yeah.
Spelled the same?
Yeah,
H-A-H-N, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Wow.
What?
I want to figure out like why band class. What at that moment was like, this is when I'm doing it.
Well, she was like, so like I'm a teacher now, but like she was like my favorite person in the entire world. Like she was like the nicest lady you'll ever meet. And she was in the marching band and I was like this big football guy and I like band and like music. And I was like, heck yeah. I'm like, you would be the person that like out of anybody here would want to be like, I think deserves like some recognition.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And would appreciate it.
Yeah. So I
No detention.
Yeah. So like cool things about what I've done in the past is she would come up for state because Norfolk Catholic is a football dynasty, and she'd come up for band, and I would go show her around and introduce her to all the people that was around at the time. So
like while you're playing football, the band comes out. Do you like take your helmet off, go run over there, play the tuba, and run back and play a play?
No, I wasn't.
No,
that,
you didn't get to do.
No,
any of that?
when I was playing football, I was playing football.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Just checking.
Gosh, no, I was one of those guys. So.
Well, I know you're a freaking dog, so I didn't know like how committed you could be to both at the same time.
No, it was football time. It was football time. Then band was later. So
He was locked in.
Yeah, I've always been locked in for football. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So another notable thing happened. Paul Finebaum versus Matt Rhule. Go, Ethan. I want you to get on your soapbox and just say whatever the hell you want.
He tweeted.
Yes, you did.
Well, I'm when was that? Was that Monday? Jeez, what day was? I didn't remember.
Was it on? It was either Thursday or Friday. I think
it was Friday. Yeah, it was Friday.
Yeah.
So that would make sense. I just got done doing weights at Columbus Lakeview, where I'm teaching at right now, and came home and was actually cooking something, and then I was scrolling Twitter just because I don't know, I was bored, and that was the first thing that popped up, and I was like furious. Like I haven't been on a Twitter rant, but like him attacking Coach Rhule like put me in a state of mind that like I haven't been like football state of mind in a long time, like just full outrageous. And I'm like, nope, I'm like that. We ain't allowing that one because I don't care what you say on national television. Like it does affect people, and especially coaches. Coaches are the people that are always receiving feedback. And for someone to say that just like blatantly, you're not one of the big boys. Like Coach Rhule has, like if you followed his career at all, he's clearly proven himself worthy. And he like even at Carolina, like it didn't go the way it was wanted to go, but they were terrible last year too.
NFL and college football are not the same anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And like, I just know the effect it has on people, and I just wanted to stand up. And then I like was tweeting it out, and I was like finding the right verbiage because I didn't want to completely cuss.
I'm gonna be a teacher. I gotta cut the F's out.
And then I like sent in. I'm like, oh, I guess that was kind of like I've never done that before. And then it started blowing up a little bit. I'm like, oh gosh,
yeah.
Like,
we retweeted it.
Yeah, people liked it, so I'm like, at least people agreed with my opinion. So,
well, dude, the thing that was most frustrating is okay. First of all, with how bad that we have been as a program for the past, we'll just say 10 years to be simple. We have a big target on our back. We have everybody making fun of us, whatever. We're the low-hanging fruit of college football right now.
I know.
Because we give a shit. Because our fans give a shit.
Our target's this big. But his line of attack was all just straw men. He was attacking an argument that Matt Rhule never made.
I know. And that was like the whole point of it. Like, completely misread the thing. The thing is, the Big Ten is expanding. We're getting all these teams. We're like the only conference that spans the entire nation, like
coast to coast.
And that's like he was making a valid point of saying like this is becoming like the NFL of college football. Like there, you go through many climate times. Like people don't understand that about the game now. If you're going from California to Nebraska, you got to be practicing at California time because. Your body wants to go in that circadian rhythm and all this stuff. But like, yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like the way he addressed Coach Rhule, and I guess I just let her fly. So,
well, and one thing that you mentioned is Finebaum saying, you're not one of the big boys, like let them talk about it. In his entire speech, Matt Rhule never says Nebraska is the big boy. He's talking about the conference and saying this is, if it's not the hardest, it's certainly the second hardest conference to play in, especially now that it spans coast to coast.
Yeah, and I honestly think just like what he's been doing too, like with all the recruiting and just like the improvements he's made, even in a year. Like I've been playing for I played for 5 years. Like I don't know. I don't know how you could say that on live national television without having some repercussions.
Well, and the thing is like the guy got his career covering a guy like Nick Saban, right? But you're Nick Saban, you're king. Look at his NFL record. I mean, come on now. Like you gotta be more aware of the situation.
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing. Like a lot of those guys do. They know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and like they're just trying to
Nebraska.
get clicks, and it's like, and I don't want to feed into that, but like, I don't know.
But yeah, that was a straight jab at your guy.
Yeah, it was.
That's your guy.
No, he is my guy. Like Coach Rhule, like I sacrificed my right side of the body for that. Like he, like just talking about, I don't know how much people followed my career, but like breaking my hand and stuff. Like Coach Rhule said, "Are you able to play?" And I said, "You would be the only person that like I feel very confident of like playing for with a broken hand. I don't care what happens. I know what you're trying to do here."
Yeah,
and I fully bought in, and like honestly, that made like I just flipped that mode, like, and then made it on ESPN, did all this cool stuff, and then I got injured, and then I don't know. For me, my career was really weird last year because I was like, it started like how Minnesota went and Colorado, you saw that, and then we kind of got momentum, and then kind of whole bunch of injuries. Like the game, I got injured. Billy went down, Turner went down, I went down, and then Nuri went down. But Nuri was just a dog and got his knee fixed on and came back and played.
Shot him up with some stuff and told him go back out there, buddy.
Like it was. There's so many. Just like looking back on last season, it's been just like, what the heck were we doing? Like injury wise, like. Couldn't script it. Like I have no idea how we got that many injuries. Like Marcus Washington, IGC, like getting injured. I'm like, oh my gosh! Like these are key pivotal guys that we're relying on, and
you're still missing a few. I mean, Gabe got hurt.
Ramir. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. Like
insanity.
The thing about Gabe is like running backs. Like they're more fluid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Gabe was an absolute dog, and like he broke his whatever, and like it was just like in the training room, I'm like looking, actually speaking about, like I didn't realize how many, like it just was crazy.
It's just like a party in there.
It
right?
was.
I mean,
like we had like
half,
like and I don't. That was like the most like it was just again crazy, like unnormal, and like I have no idea why it happened that way. So we were just playing hard, and that's all I could say. So,
well, number one, I think it's encouraging that you felt the need to have Rhule's back, even though you've only played under him for 1 year.
Yeah.
Right. And so like us as fans, we see that and we're like, we like the direction this is going. Of course, we always hear the good things about Rhule. We are still somewhat in the honeymoon phase a little bit, but when real life players like yourself go out of your way and like you feel this like rage that someone would talk shit on him, it's like, yeah, I think we do feel comfortable with the way this is going.
Yeah. No, and I'll say I went through all three coaching staffs, and Coach Rhule is, I couldn't, like, you can't get a better guy for the job. He's trying to do what, like, I've heard and was like an impossible job, like especially with NIL and recruiting, all the stuff. He is doing a phenomenal job of trying to manage that. So
we talk a lot about mentality, and you bring up an excellent phrase on you bought in.
Yeah.
Like it just almost immediately. And when we see all of these injuries that you talk about, is just totally abnormal. You don't see this many at the training table at the same time. It looks like the entire roster was bought in. Was that something like, what about Matt Rhule got that entire team to just say, this is our guy, like wherever we have to be, we're going to get it done?
You know, Coach Rhule is a guy that always puts others' needs first before his. And it's like very cliche to say, but he's a guy that like does it. And like everyone around him, like if you're around the guy for more than a week, you'll totally see that like full transparency. And like, I think before he's giving, like, my favorite phrase that there's about 3 or 4 that I could say, but like the top 2, there's a lot of things that I myself am coaching now.
Yeah.
And I say them all the time. But like the biggest thing is he always says to the players, he says, I want to make it about you. This isn't about any of the coaching staff. This is about you. And that as a player, you're like, oh man, like it's super easy to say, but like you think that's like common thing to say, but just saying that with what's happened in the past is so impactful. And then he's talking to the team about, he says, be as transparent as possible. Like, I don't want any of this to be, if you like the program, say how much you like the program. If you don't like the program, say how much you don't like the program. I want full transparency with the players and the fan base and the parents and all this stuff. And just opening those doors has allowed like players to get freedom, like, and like just be themselves. And like another quote I love is like, he talks about leadership. And like, I think we have, especially as an offense, have been lacking somebody just to take like the lead of like, well, we're doing this. Like, but he allows players to do that the way they feel fit and not try to pigeonhole them into something that they're not at the current moment. So
like forcing somebody to be a leader when maybe that's not their
exactly
that's not their thing.
No, and like personalities, and that's why they have all the sports psychology out there and stuff. But like he is a guy that's smart enough to put all that together and see the player for who they are, not just what he wants them to be. So,
so you talking about that kind of has me curious because Satterfield and Rhule, they bring in Jeff Sims, who, if you look at him, dude looks like a stud, great athlete, and all that stuff, right? And like coming in, we knew that turnovers were going to be an issue, in some capacity, right? But then like you watch the games and you ask yourself, how the hell did that happen? Like, what the hell, right? And so I'm just curious, like going from Jeff Sims to Heinrich Harburg, who was the hot hand and led a nice little winning streak there. Like, how did that legitimately bring your morale up to like make that change? And I'm not asking you to talk shit on Jeff Sims or anything, but like a change like that, does it give you some extra juice?
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah. And there's no doubt, and you could see that just how things went. Like I always say, it doesn't matter what like the games are played, and you could see what's happening on the field. Like, that tells a lot what's going on in the program. And Jeff was a guy like during spring ball, he was the dude. Like in fall camp, he was the dude. And then, but sometimes when like lights come on, and especially the pressure of the Nebraska quarterback, like you saw what that's done to other people's careers in the past. Like some people aren't ready for that moment, and
it's crazy.
And like I'm not, like I wasn't ready for the moment. Sometimes I've been benched and I've been through all this stuff. And the thing is, like, but there's like turnovers, like blocking for him, like against Colorado, and like doing your job and just seeing the ball in between your legs.
On your ground.
Yeah, it's right like underneath me. I'm like, I've never been in that position before. And like now you're trying to play a game that inside the game, and then now you're not focusing on your assignment, and then things just kind of go haywire. Heinrich, he just came in just like you could look at my interviews too. Like he just came in just full bullhead, and he was just ready to rock and roll. And like as an offensive lineman, that made me so much more like I as long as you're doing your job, it makes me feel confident that I can do my job. You know what I'm saying? I'm not more worried about you scrambling and messing things up. Like you're not worried about what's behind you. Now you can focus on what's in front of you. Not saying any offensive lineman should worry about what's going on behind them. But sometimes it makes you wonder with as many turnovers as we had. So
well, like so you make the change, and like Heinrich would start to struggle a little bit. Then there'd be like little chirps here and there about let's bring Jeff Sims back in. And there was that moment where when he came back in against, was it Purdue, where he comes back in and then he fumbles again.
Like literally like the third play.
Not even that. So it's like as fans, we see Sims come back in, and it's like, so then it gets you thinking, are the players thinking the same thing? You know, just like, oh man, like no matter how good you did your job, it was just like, damn, like something's gonna happen.
Everybody's gonna be pulling in the same direction.
Yeah, it does.
Like every play.
You hear the team sport.
Yeah.
You hear the murmurs in Memorial, like, you hear little, what do they call them?
Do you even hear that shit? Or do you
no.
And
I don't want to talk bad about Jeff, but like the Purdue game, like I was injured, and I'm like, I'm like out of the zone. Like I'm on like a whole bunch of pain medicines and stuff, and he gets in the game one time and like he fumbles it, like,
and they take it back.
Yeah, and I honestly feel terrible. Like there's no other thing except like I love Jeff, and like I just feel terrible that he feels that much pressure that he can't play his game. Like it's such a like it's a love-hate relationship. Like at the same time, you want to win, and like especially being one of the longest bowl, we're in the longest bowl drought. Like it stinks, and like that was my whole goal was to make a bowl game, and then the whole thing. But yeah, like just to see someone go through that as somebody that's been through like that mental anguish and stuff, and like I just feel for the guy, and I hope the best for whatever he does in the future.
Arizona State, maybe he finds his thing there.
Yeah, and exactly, it's just like
talented.
Like even we were talking about Adrian, and you guys had him, like look at what he's done.
Yeah,
like and at one point, like everyone, like I don't know, people's views were differing and stuff, and it was just weird time of Nebraska football back in the day, but Adrian was the dude, and everyone knew it. It just wasn't the time and place. So sports is a lot about timing and just like you gotta be prepare, and then it's your moment. Just like you were talking to me today, you're saying like you wrote you off of not being that dude.
Yeah.
And then like it just worked out.
Everything clicked. And you were just to fill the listeners in, we were talking, before we started recording, and I was telling Ethan, I'm like, like you're like the definition of a dog. Like if you go look at mainstream media, local media, talking about, okay, projected starters, all this stuff, Ethan Piper is not in that conversation, but you're the guy that Matt Rhule went to bat for immediately. And then you're the guy that he ran out there right away in the first game. Like nobody projected you to be the starter, and you were the starter, and you were on ESPN knocking people on their ass. Like it was fun to watch.
Yeah. I look back at my career and I'm just happy. Like when you're done, you get to reflect a lot of things, because in the moment everything's flying sideways, and gosh, there's a lot of noise out there. But looking back, I think I was listening to Ray Lewis. I love Ray Lewis and the way he talks, and you just watch a lot of old ex-players interview, and like he talks about he said they asked him if he misses the game, and I relate to this to a certain extent. He's like, I don't miss the game because I gave it everything I had, but you just miss the moments of the game. Like like there's a lot of stuff, wins and losses taken out of it. There's just a lot of things that you build that brotherhood, and like you have friendships that last forever, and just being able to be a part of that, it's just been such a cool experience. And like even when I'm at this moment, like now, like I just have so many connections and stuff that like I'm just very thankful for. And even being able to be on a podcast, like that's pretty cool in my opinion. Like I haven't, like if you saw me about not 4 or 5 years ago, but like high school and stuff, like you would never think that I would be able to like talk and stuff like this. So,
This band nerd.
Yeah. I appreciate just like the like you talk about Nebraska fan base, like, and that's what like ultimately, like I know a lot, like my best friends were like talk a lot of people from high school, talk all these people, like everyone, when you grew up in Nebraska, especially where I was, Norfolk Catholic, like you just know what Nebraska is all about, and I try to represent that for the program.
Absolutely.
So that actually leads me like beautifully into the next question I have. We talk about the pressure. We talk about, Jeff Sims, Heinrich Harburg, that there is all of this pressure.
Yeah.
But I think something we've seen over the last few seasons is a lot of pressure surrounding the O-line.
Yeah.
Do you think growing up in Nebraska, that fishbowl was a little bit easier to deal with just because you were kind of accustomed to it? Or was it still a big adjustment once you got there and seeing all that?
No, it was just an adjustment of just like the games differently, right? Everyone's like, you got to bring back the 90s football, but we can't cut anymore. And like you look at the guys, and they were playing their absolute tail off, but like you can't really do that in today's game. Like it's just different.
A lot of different rules that have been put in place to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, exactly. And like it makes you just like, even the highlight I had against, that's a free shot. Like you don't get many of those in football, but like you just know how much it meant. And like at the time we talk about the depth, and everyone knows the offense line, like we were hated on for the longest time. Like I'll go to my friend's house, and like we have people rating us all the time, and like everyone's like, if we improve our offensive line, we could win more games or whatever. And I'm like, and it was just such like, I knew, like I didn't know how to make us better at the time, but like through those experiences of going through the hard things and stuff, I was able to adjust my game enough to get like start leading that, to get the program, like especially with Donnie, we got that room and going the right direction. And now you can see the significant improvements we've done. That's just called hours and hours and hours and hours of hard work. Like I went 7 days a week for all of 2023. Like it was no breaks. No, it was like you
all gas, no brakes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And like the thing is you care so much about it that you put your heart and soul into it and good things happen. So
you mentioned the name, Donnie Raiola.
Oh yeah.
So Coach Frost brings him in before he's ultimately let go.
Yep.
And then it's kind of a debate. Does Matt Rhule keep him on staff? And he ultimately does. And of course there's speculation as to why. And we feel he's definitely doing a great job.
Yeah.
If you could, during Frost or before Frost last year, and he brings him in, that change initially.
Yeah.
What was so much different about bringing Donovan Raiola?
Oh, the intensity. Like the first day of fall camp with Donnie, right? I'm a heavy sweater. Okay. Yeah, you can kind of tell.
It's hot in here, guys.
Yeah. I'm a heavy sweater here. Yeah. And I'm 265 now. I was 315 at the time. You could tell how much I was sweating then.
We're gonna have to change this chair.
Yeah.
We're done. Anyway, it was intense.
It was intense. But it was hot and stuff is what fall camp's all about. And had a great practice. It was going, me and Trent Hickson at the time, the other student athlete of the year guy. And we were going at each other and it was just carnage. Like Donnie puts it was basically board drill for like 45 minutes. Then you go play 12 plays in a row. Then you go to like 3 team periods. Then you go play 12 plays in a row. It's like, go, 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 go. And it was the last period of the day. And my whole left side of my leg, so the calf and quad just start cramping. I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, this is not good. If I start cramping, I'm like, I am doomed. And so I'm like, oh gosh, I told Donnie, I'm like, I can't play anymore. And he goes, Ethan, he's like, no, you could play. I'm like, Coach, you don't understand. I can't play anymore. He was like, well, got me a sub. He was all mad. I start downing water and everything else starts cramping up. So like my right, like quad hamstring, I'm like, oh no, it's happening. And then pretty soon it just works its way up to your abs and then like my forearms and then my jaw and then my hands and then my tongue. I'm like sitting there and I'm like, can't move. Like it is awful. I don't know. Like,
dude, that sounds like a horror movie.
It is. It's terrible. And
I know it was coming.
I was like, and I'm just sitting down there and I'm just dying. And anyway, I get back to the training room and they IV me up and I lost like 10 pounds and I was like, oh god, like after flu and I was like, oh gosh, like this is awful. And then I was in my shoes for so long, like all that water, it like got underneath my toenails and got infected. So I just went back there and I just said, just take off my toenails. And they just pulled them out.
All of them?
No, my big toes, but like my
my
okay.
God.
So then
thanks for that.
Yeah, before every single game or before every single practice, I would have to put like Vaseline and wrap my toenails.
Oh my God.
Over socks and yeah.
This is a fucking grinder, boys and girls.
Yeah. No.
This is a grinder.
So you probably didn't like Donovan Raiola in that moment.
Oh, I
but
think
in the long run,
I like the dude. Like the thing is, I like the dude. I just knew what his expectations were, and that's what it took to win. And I wanted to be a part of it. So
yeah.
Well, it's just anytime we make a new hire, it's always they're the best coach ever. Like, why didn't they make this hire sooner? Because he's the best, and he's better than the old guy, you know. So it's just when you hear about what you went through,
yeah,
it's like, are the stories true about like, okay, the old offensive line coach wasn't as intense, wasn't as detail oriented, and etc. This new guy comes in, Donovan Raiola, and it's just a new standard. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like your old coach was bad. It's just maybe Donovan Raiola emphasizes different things or
coaches differently. I mean, I think that's just what it comes down.
Gets after you more. I don't know.
Yeah, he's intense. That's he's probably the most intense person I've ever met in my life. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, he's got that silent, like silent killer.
Oh yeah.
That's what we had Tony Affinoti on a few months ago.
Mentality.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's what Tony was talking about, was just he's the silent killer. Like, all his interviews are going to be boring, but who gives a fuck about the interviews?
Yeah,
right.
Tony,
The press appearances. Who cares about that? Like, he's a silent killer.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
Jared had mentioned the speculation as to why Donovan Raiola was kept on staff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that was like, oh yeah, we're gonna get his nephew and he's gonna come in. That's the reason why he's sticking around. Was there ever any mention of that? Did they ever talk about that? Like, I just want to know, kind of like inside the locker room, like how stupid that was, or whatever.
Maybe it wasn't stupid.
Yeah.
No, we were at the point that whatever happened. Like, I don't know. I think when that speculation, Donnie always has his family around, and Dominic's always been in, and his Hudson, his daughter, always comes in, and so Dylan and everyone comes in and all the time, and just because that's such an important thing Nebraska football means to them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know Dylan's story. I haven't talked to Dylan enough, but I think it definitely influenced it. I think just knowing that how deep the roots are. Like, if you I think of Nebraska football, and I think of Dominic Raiola now. Like, that's the first thing that could pop to my mind.
Yeah.
And then now Donnie, and no, and the guys in the locker room we were like, whatever happens. And he committed to Georgia. I'm like, good for him. Like,
hell yeah. Go play with the best team in the country.
Play with best, like, it's when you're in high school, like, there's no judgment. Like, you do what you need to do, and if you feel like that's the best fit for you, like, go ball.
Mhm.
And for me, like, even my career, I could have gone. My first offer was from Iowa, and then like I know.
Yeah.
And
Hey, but if you're going to be an offensive lineman, like, you might want to go there too.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is.
we have another Norfolk Catholic person there, Cade Pieper. He just won the hay baling contest over there.
His last name's Pieper?
Pieper, not Piper.
So there's a Pieper and a Piper, and you talked about how close-knit this community is.
Okay.
Like, how close are we talking here?
No.
A peeper and a piper and a pitchfork.
Yeah. And a pepper.
Oh, man. Might be.
Wait, maybe I'm being dumb here. You said a hay baling competition?
Oh yeah, he won.
So is him just tossing them, or like over his head?
I don't know.
Like,
It looked. I saw the video, and he just like threw it over his head. Like, I don't know.
That's the most Nebraska badass shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, no, he threw like 65 in the shot put. Like, the guy's insane.
Okay.
And I'm really good friends with his brother Dylan, and he's a great dude too. So, like, he's another lineman. So, but yeah, I don't know. We kind of got on a tangent, but yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I was just happy he committed, and I liked his poem for his commitment. I thought it was pretty baller. So.
Even if he didn't write it, it was still pretty cool.
Hey, it came from his account. So.
Yeah, we'll
That's
take
what
it.
matters.
Yeah.
Well, what are we at for time?
We are at 38 minutes, so it's a good time for a break. But what I will tell you, Ethan, is that this is the most live viewers that we've ever had with a guest on the show.
Oh, sweet.
We're sitting at almost 500 people in here.
Holy shit.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're breaking records over here, Ethan.
Breaking records, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to take just a quick break, refill our beers or grab new ones, and we will be right back with you.
Awesome. Cool.
Thank you, Method Man, and thank you, Troy. Ethan Piper. Thank you again for sitting in that seat.
Oh yeah,
suffering through the heat. Do you need any water?
No, I'm good right
you good?
now.
Okay.
I chugged some water before we came on. So.
Mike, you got your phone up. I think he's got a note.
Yeah, I've got a note. Okay. So we were talking to our friend Sam Hahn, and I was like, okay, like we got Ethan coming on. What should we ask him about? And he's like, you need to ask him about his knee, his injury.
Oh yeah.
Because like I don't think people really know like the shit you went through and like how bad it actually was.
Yeah.
So maybe get into that. Relive it a little bit without the pain.
No,
right?
it's all good. Nice thing is I can walk again.
Yeah, and that was the thing is like, because like when I was talking to Sam, I was like, well, technically Ethan was a junior. He probably could have came back this year. And he's like, yeah, I think he was more worried about trying to walk. And I was like, okay, I got to ask him about this.
Yeah, no, so like it was the Northwestern game and it was drop 8. I let the defensive end go, and then I came back to clear the pocket, but everything was clear. And then I saw Heinrich tuck it, so I started running. And Heinrich went to the left, I went to the right, and I started like coming back. And right when that happened, somebody must have missed a tackle or something. I haven't really watched too much of the play. And I went to plant, and right when I planted, the knee hit not knee. I always say that the helmet hit my knee.
Oh,
and I've been injured and rolled up a million times, but I felt really, really hot. And like I felt something pop, and I was like, I don't know what that means. And I was like, okay, I'm like, I wanted somebody to check me out before because I couldn't move. Like
it was different. You've been hurt in the past, but this was different.
Yeah. And yeah, my leg. So I forgot I did this. So I like looked down and my knee is like pointing a different direction. I'm like, oh, it's dislocated. And I was like, okay. So I just pop it back into place. And I didn't know like a dislocation was very bad for like your knee. And so I was like, oh, I'm fine. Like, I don't feel much. And I tried stepping on it and my knee just went like this. Like it just went out. So like, there's nothing holding this knee in place. So I go to the sideline and Billy Kemp got hurt that same play and he had an MCL sprain or something like that. And he's in the tent and I'm just sitting there. Like I couldn't walk. And I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know how bad this is. And they give me the sideline. I'm sitting there, and our trainer, Drew, great dude, and he's like, Ethan, just sit down. Like, we'll get to you. Like, we'll be fine. And I'm like, okay. I'm sitting there just like, I can't feel my right leg right now.
Talk about the O lineman versus the receiver diva kind of thing.
Yeah,
right? He's getting the VIP treatment.
And then they put me in, like, I get in the tent, and they start moving. I'm like, they're like, we got to get him inside now. I'm like, oh, what? I'm like, what happened? He's like, go. Like, we got to go. So they put me on the cart. And I didn't know what's going on. So they x-ray it and they see it got was it dislocated? I said, yeah, I put it back into place. And they're like, oh crap. Oh. And so they go in and x-ray it. And now they put me in the back where the new facilities are. And they're trying to feel a pulse because what happens is there's an artery that runs down. And dislocating that shredded everything except that artery. And they're feeling that pulse and like, we don't have a pulse. And they were freaking out. And they're like, we could lose your leg or whatever. And I'm like, I'm sitting there like, oh crap. I'm like,
I'm going to lose my leg.
I'm going to lose my leg. I already have a broken hand. I'm like, this stinks. And anyways, everyone was freaking out around me. And like, you're in offensive lineman mode at that point. Like you could literally get hit by a truck and not feel a thing. And, but the greatest thing about the story is, so I watched the rest of the game. We win the game. So I'm like, okay, we're good. Like, I'm just happy we got another win because this is like a bowl game. And like, we're going to a bowl game. Like, we had to get our mojo still flowing. I'm like, they don't need me out there right now because I'm like, I'm done. Like, I knew I was done. I'm like, let's just keep this rolling.
Yeah.
And so I get all my stuff off and I went to take a shower. This is the funniest. And so I have a broken hand and my knee is just all, and they eventually find a pulse and it's like, you're going to be fine. It's just going to take, like they said, everything's probably gone. We don't know that yet. And I'm like, oh crap. So I just lost the rest of my season. So I'm like, oh gosh. So I went to take a shower. This is the funniest part.
Oh no.
They like a handicap shower. Nobody uses it, right? Because there's like a little handicap stool like in the wall And I'm like, I sit down.
Oh no.
And I just rip it out of the wall.
You ripped the
off
the wall?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God.
And I was like, thank goodness I had balance. Like I'm pretty athletic. So I caught myself in my left leg. I'm like, that could have been awful.
You would have just ripped the rest of whatever was
man,
left.
I was like, talk about a day. I'm like,
is there a weight limit on the handicap? I didn't realize.
I have no idea. And
well, I guess apparently
it was bad. It was bad. So it was one of those things that like, and then they got me in the surgery room. Funny story about that, right? So this is the kind of talk about my teaching career. So I was a practicum student at Lincoln Southeast at the time. And I would come in, they're like, "You're playing Nebraska football," and everyone's like, "Oh, do you start?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't do anything." And then everyone's like, "Oh yeah, every single time." Yeah. Like these guys don't know. Like, and then I made it on ESPN one day, and I played Colorado, got a broken hand, and I came in with a broken hand. And everyone's like, "Oh gosh, what happened to you?" I'm like, "Well, I broke my hand." And so that was like fresh Nebraska news. Yeah. So all these kids are eating it up. Then I make it on ESPN the next week, and everyone's like, "What is going on?" Like,
I think he plays.
And then I blew out my knee. And then once I came back the next day. I have a video of me in a wheelchair, or not wheelchair. I was in crutches, but I came back in a wheelchair to teach. And like, that's what the untold story of my story is. I taught like biology, or was in the biology classroom to get my 100 hours. Then I had all these surgeries, and then I went back in December when I was able to finally move again by myself-ish. I didn't drive a car until like January, and finished my hours. And like, that was a cool part of it, is like, I got to show these kids like a little bit about perseverance and like doing and like, that was cool, just being able, like, if there's any positive that came out of that, it's just like, don't quit on what you love. So
that's insane.
Well, teaching. Okay, sorry.
I have to touch on, like, just for me mentally, the knee injury happens.
Yeah.
You're told that you might lose the leg, and your first response is, "That stinks." I'm like, my thought, I would have been saying much worse things. Then your next thought is, "Well, we won the game."
Yeah.
Sick.
Well, here's so we had a guy growing up at Norfolk Catholic that got hit in the spine, and the Pfeiffer family, and like, we're really close friends, and he lost everything, and like, he couldn't move, he couldn't do anything. And that was when I was really young. So like, it was, for the community, it was very impactful. And from that moment on, I knew football was a violent sport.
Yeah.
And I knew the repercussions. And I said, I'm ready. Like, if anything happened to me, like, I am just grateful that I made it this far. And like, you play that game with that appreciation, like, good things happen to you.
That's a warrior mentality.
It is.
Yeah.
And when I got hit, I said I was the statistic. Like, now I was making fun of it, which is, I'm in a way better place than I was back then.
Right.
Because after a while, like, just all the turmoil, you go through it quite a bit.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, I laugh now, because now they go in the new football health conference, and they can just show the MRI of my knee, and like, this is Ethan Piper. Like, this is what we did, and this is how we reconstructed it. Like, now I'm like, as a scientist, I'm like, gave medicine something that wouldn't have been there if I didn't get hit like that. So,
folks, if this is your knee, you did something wrong.
Yeah.
Your life.
Don't pop your kneecap back in.
You see this? Don't do that.
Is that like something like having that shown at conferences? Is that like yeah, that was me? Or is it like, you're gosh damn right?
That's my knee right there. My knee. That used to squat like 800 pounds, man. So.
Well, shoot, and you're teaching biology.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that could be like a course in itself a little bit. Like, that could be a little tangent that you take. Like, here's what happened to my knee. Oh. And anatomically, my kneecap got fucked up.
Yeah. No.
Well, don't say that, but.
Neology 101.
Oh, 1,000%. And like, I was taught at Lincoln. I student taught at Lincoln North Star, and we did a momentum. So P equals MV, right? And I show the Kenny Bell highlight of him just
laying out the Wisconsin guy.
And then I show my highlight laying out the guy. I'm like, mass times velocity equals momentum. And then you start talking like it's kind of it's kind of a
you just dumbed it down for me.
Exactly.
Wow.
See? Yeah. See, now when there's a reason your body knows it. You just might not know the math. That's why you don't step in front of a train. So
Yeah. We're going to start calling that the Piper rule.
Jeez. That's awesome. Man. That was what a roller coaster of a story.
That's what the B stands for. Right?
I'm going to lose my leg. We win. I fell in the shower. I'm in a wheelchair.
And I'm still going back to teach.
Yeah.
I'm getting my freaking hours. All right.
That is absurd.
Hey, football created an opportunity for me to pay off my schooling. And I was like, if I know my football career is done, I'm just going to get my schooling done so I don't have to worry about it later. So
yeah, I get it, man. I mean, speaking of paying for school and stuff like that, how was NIL? Did NIL help the O-linemen all? I know you got a little pipeline jerky, right?
Yeah.
Right? But how was it? Was it okay for you guys?
Yeah, I was never the biggest fan of NIL.
Okay.
So when it first came out, I didn't sign with anything because I was like, except somebody, Arthur Miller Pape Eye Clinic back in Norfolk, Steve Miller.
Okay, well, like a friend of yours.
Yeah, a friendly friend. And he came in and that's the only NIL deal I did. And Pipeline Jerky, then I signed on with them later because I didn't like NIL. I have a very strong opinion because I think it just distracts. Like, I think football is a team sport, and I think a lot of players should get paid. And like even Dylan, I think like 100% deserves what he gets. And I think a lot of people deserve. But what that does for a lot of team dynamics, like it's especially guys that aren't professional yet. Like when you go to the league, you're professional. I didn't experience myself, but I could see how it could create divisions, and like you kind of feel that way a little bit. But I never really paid attention to it. That's why I just did my job. So
hell yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, like,
great answer.
Look at the NFL, right? Like, you got wide receivers from this team wanting to be paid the same amount as these wide receivers on this team, and it just starts turning into this like, well, he makes this much, he makes this much. Why don't I make that?
Dissing contest.
Yeah. Well, you just lose your love for the game. Like, I think that's what I want to play. Like, I wanted just to play. Like, anything that came with it was with it. But like, NIL is just one of those things that it's new, it's exciting, and like people are buying into it. But like, I don't know. I just think the game isn't what it is. Like, it's just weird. Right. It's a weird dynamic right now in college football. And I don't know if it's good, bad, or ugly. It's just what it is.
Well, they're not only paying players now, but you have basically just TV networks saying, here's what's going to happen. Yeah. Whether you like it or not, damn you, we don't give a fuck. We want to make our money. So you're going to go in this conference. You're going to drop out of this conference because you don't make any money. Curious to know what happens with like Vanderbilt or something. But yeah, it's just what we used to know.
Gone.
The Big Eight ain't coming back.
Yeah. No,
maybe in like 20 years it'll come back. I don't know. But
yeah, hopefully they figure, like, even with like all the big, like, even like, it's not even just players right now. Everyone's cashing out. Like, all these teams are joining conferences and signing. Like, it's not just the players; it's everyone. Like, they're trying to benefit as much as they can, which is the smart thing to do. It's just sometimes there's just repercussions for moving all that stuff around. So, like, your train of thought's not always what it needs to be on, which is just trying to get better every single day. So one thing I want to ask, and the people are wondering. Oh yeah.
Oh boy. All 600 of them.
Yeah.
700.
700.
All 700.
So, if Ethan Piper was coming back this year, would you be signing to be in NCAA football 25? I mean, that's sort of.
And what would your overall rating be?
Yeah.
I have no idea. See, that's when it comes to me. Like, I would go be in the game just to buy a copy, and then maybe like when I have a kid, you could play like, hey, that's me.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just happy the game's out, because I think, like, I grew up without many video games. Like, if you can't tell, like, I I worked. I weed whacked. I
In the
was
cemetery.
in the cemetery. I was a janitor. I helped people move. I was
damn.
I was always
You're
working.
a saint, dude.
Wait, hold on. Were you one of those like college hunk truck drivers? Like,
No,
have
no,
you seen
no.
that company?
Well,
it's like a moving company.
I kind of. I guess I was like the high school hunk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Ethan for all your needs.
yeah. Well, yeah. The only problem is
Moving needs.
the problem is moving needs.
Specify.
Mike.
You just get sweat everywhere. That's the only.
It's a con.
Yeah, it's a
all
con.
your items will be
You would
wet.
have to. Everything would be moved, but it would just be all slimed.
It's glistening. Why is it glistening?
So, but no, back to the game. I don't know. I think it would have been fun to sign, and just as a guy, it would just be fun that you were in a video game that everyone else thinks is
That's
cool.
me.
So, yeah, that's me. It wouldn't mean much to me because I'm not big video gamer, but I think for some of these guys that grew up playing the game, I think it means the world just to see them, their like face in the game, which is I think would be cool. So.
Yeah. I mean, video games. Oh, who plays those, right?
Can we start a petition? Get Ethan Piper put in the game.
Freaking Mike, who plays video games? He's got freaking a notebook. I know you like notebooks.
Yeah.
Of just what's the algorithm? It's 3rd and 3.
do.
What does the defense do? He's
you
like,
want to talk about like
this
being like a nerd about things? Like
you're a quarterback.
My goal, when I play any video game, but especially football games, especially EA, is to find the algorithm and how I can break it so that I can score 100 on the hardest level. So I've already done that.
That's awesome.
And people are like, my friends are like, "Oh, it's boring. You're in the same play over and over again." I'm like,
who won?
But I play it like a video game. I don't play it like real life.
You're like Peter Griffin. Have you seen that? Like corner 3.
Yeah.
Corner 3. Here's my thing. I don't care. If you could do that in real life, if you're a head coach, you know what I'm running?
The same
play.
Let me put it this way. I'll ask an offensive lineman. If we're running up the middle and you're getting 8 yards every time, wouldn't you just keep running up the middle?
Oh, yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I mean, unless your play caller's like crazy, like you're going to keep running up the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's what I do in video games.
On that same note, what was one play that you knew when it got called? He's like, "Oh, I got this. Like, I've got this block. We're going to get this yardage, whether it's pass or run, whatever it is."
Oh, gosh. What was it? We called it. I don't even know what we called it. It was me pulling. It was just like a short yardage. I would just pull and I'll just kick out whoever I thought wanted to kick out. That was Louisiana Tech game. We scored on that. On NIU, we scored on that. When we started getting just figuring out the flow of our offense, it started clicking a lot more. So yeah, I just love pulling. That was my
That's your corner 3.
Yeah, it's my corner 3. Like I was a pretty fast guy and I was 315 pounds. And when I hit you, you felt it. So, but it's a good time. I don't know. I just like playing the game. So
it's like I just like football.
Yeah, it's just football. Football's football. I was D-line, O-line. In high school, they put me on the kickoff team. I'm like, sure,
sweet.
Sweet. Let's just play football.
So did they ever put you at running back?
No, surprisingly not. But I was at fullback at one point.
Okay,
yeah.
There it is. Because look, you're talking about polling and being a fullback. Look, you're getting a running start.
Oh,
that's got to be a hell of a feeling, right? All that inertia.
Oh man,
dude. Think about the science in you right there, talking about inertia.
Inertia.
Talking about how much speed you can impact another item that's not moving.
It's all running through his head. He's like, momentum.
It's fun.
Velocity.
How excited were you when you got those fullback calls?
I was so excited.
Yeah.
Like, the problem is I would get so excited I'd sometimes take my own teammate out. Like I'm like, that guy's supposed to be there, and I like close my eyes just like we're going. So
get out of my way.
I could say that now because the coach Donnie would be like, that's not how we coached it. But I love, like, it was just once you got comfortable with it, it was fun. So
yeah.
Okay, did anybody else have a question about like the past? His playing career or anything like that? You sure?
No, not really. I think
because I don't want to jump.
I do want to talk science a little bit, but we'll get into that at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's return to the page of 2024. True freshman quarterback starting.
Yep.
And
maybe we'll see. Maybe.
Okay. Maybe. Let's be realistic. Yeah. Look, he threw his mic away.
I mean, I'm not doing it. I'm just saying, like, he played with the other guy.
I'm ignoring you right now.
He played with the other guy.
Don't act like DR is not starting.
Do you think that Heinrich has any chance to be starting game 1?
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
Okay.
I think everyone has a chance. Like what people say is like you could do whatever you want, and then people put him. Coach Rhule has his own method and madness of what he wants and what he's seeing in Satterfield's the same way. But if you have a good fall camp, like, and if you're running the offense, like people make drastic improvements in summer that people don't see. I don't know. That's what makes the game fun.
Yeah.
Like even for me, my mindset was like, I don't care where I am at the depth chart. Like I can make a run at it. Like if you're in it,
and you did.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't matter where you think you're at because it doesn't until we suit up on a Saturday, things could change still. Like, I don't know. And that's like the fun thing about football is you never know until you know. And like, I think Dylan, geez, he's an awesome dude. Like there's not one negative, like there's nothing that comes to my mind that he has a lot to prove, but like he has every capability of proving it. Heinrich's proved a lot. I think he's things to work on, but I don't think those things aren't correctable. I think going into this season, if he had the right head on his shoulders starting right away in the summer, you don't know how good Heinrich's gotten.
Well, you were there.
Yeah.
He wasn't even getting reps when
he didn't travel under Mickey.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't even go to those games.
Whipple was interesting.
The whole thing is like, people write people off way too quickly, and like it just football just takes time to get the pacing, the timing, and the rhythm of it. And once you do, that's when you ball. And I think there's a lot of guys on the team. It's just who best fits our offense of what they're trying to do, our offense schematics and stuff. If we want to run the ball, Heinrich is faster.
Much faster.
Yeah, and he's a running quarterback, and
Yeah.
Dylan's phenomenal at passing. So like. It's for them to figure out what they want to do, and it's like that's the cool thing about coaching is you get to choose that. So,
well, the coaching staff added Glenn Thomas, quarterbacks coach, focusing solely on quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I'm curious, just as an O lineman, you might have been kind of in your own bubble.
Yeah.
But did you notice any strain? We like to say strain. Did you see the strain?
No, I don't. I think there was one particular coach that said that.
Did you notice?
Not under your time. That was Bob Diaco.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Did you see the strain? Did you notice I don't want to say he was above his head or anything, but did you feel like he was kind of being stretched a little thin because he had to be quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator, and so it was just it seemed maybe his expertise is not in quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And so, when you have Heinrich Harburg, who has been shut out of the quarterback room and wasn't really given a chance, it just felt, well, you have this quarterbacks coach that usually doesn't do that, and he's trying to call plays.
Yeah.
And you're trying to bring Heinrich into the fold. And I don't know, it just seemed like button heads and square peg, round hole kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you had an injuries, for God's sake.
Yeah. Behind the doors, there's just a lot of losing creates a lot of strain.
Sure.
On those coaches, especially with winning at Nebraska. We could say what we want, but the demand to win is higher than any other program just because we have such a phenomenal fan base. And some people just we always say handle the fire differently. And some people make decisions that in the moment seem like they're the right decisions, and now we could look back, say those were the right decisions. But going forward, I don't know exactly how you want to phrase the question was phrased, but
I guess just bringing in a quarterbacks coach.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel like just him being solely focused?
That's true. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No. I kind of went.
Yeah, it's all good. No, bringing in quarterbacks coach. The more coach quarterback is the most important thing in the offense besides the 5 guys up front.
I was gonna say I think it's offensive line,
but that's 5 guys. I'm just saying quarterback is naturally a leadership role. So if you don't have the right guy there, look at what Tom Brady did to teams. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Look at what you bring and Aaron Rodgers, but you bring these guys in and they immediately make an impact. That's just the role of quarterback. That's why everyone likes the quarterback.
Oh yeah,
and he bringing in a coach that's best, that makes sense to me. We need what we've struggled with in the past is just consistent quarterback play. And that's why we play so many guys. And if we have somebody that is a specialist and could do that, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So the NCAA just passed a rule in the last week or so that says that the college football teams now can have as many coaches on staff as possible.
Really?
Yeah, and they can coach on the field and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, from a former player's perspective, like, is that a huge benefit?
Yeah.
To be able to have like 2 offensive line coaches now. You have 2 Donnies yelling at you.
Yeah.
You got 2 quarterback coaches. You got
2
2
times as many full body cramps.
I was gonna say.
Well, here's the thing: is it depends on how they communicate. You got to bring in the right guys. If you bring in somebody that's not bought in, see, now we're talking about the buy-in with players. You have to have buy-in with coaches too, because now if you're butting heads up top, then nothing gets done below.
Yeah.
But if you get more guys on the same page, in theory, it makes it's awesome. Like I back in the day, we had some trouble with
analysts,
analysts and whatever. And I don't know. I think if you get the right people and like more eyes, the better. So
yeah, I think Matt Rhule is the perfect guy to handle something like that.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, the one thing we always say about Matt Rhule is no matter who is speaking in front of the podium, whether it's a player or a coach, they all sound the same.
Yeah,
and it's just it instills culture. The communication from the top down is always the same, and the vision just seems to be the same.
Yeah,
which is hopefully is going to translate with these extra coaches now.
Yeah, it should, and I have full confidence in what Rhule does and how he handles his business. And I think whatever he does with that rule,
well, that
Coach Rhule is going to do a good job.
Maybe he calls a former offensive lineman of his to go help with the offensive line, huh?
Maybe.
Yeah. You got some coaching to do before you get there.
Yeah, I got a lot still to learn. I'm only 23, so
yeah,
I got to figure out taxes and all that.
I got adulting things to do before I worry about.
Before I jump in that boat, I got to figure out my own stuff. So.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Let him teach a few years.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, you talk about, the strain that comes across as we're talking about coaches and players and that kind of interpersonal relationship. When you talk about with losses, that creates a lot of strain on the coaching staff. But I would imagine as a player, you have internal strain as well, because there are things that maybe you're looking at as like, maybe I could have done this better and changed this.
Oh, yeah.
How do you deal with the internal strain versus how you deal with the strain from your coaches? Like which one carries more weight? Is it the one that you have on yourself or the one from the coaches?
Yeah, the one from yourself should be the one that should motivate you. Like, one thing, like it's every team should be player led, right? And the coaches help get you to that point, right? Even with Donnie, like me and him have conversations, and like he just let me do what I wanted to do because he's like, you're the one in the fire, you're the one doing this. Like he gave me the keys. Now, were there times where there's struggle, like what are we doing? Yeah, but you could sit down with them and actually have a conversation and figure out what are we on the same page, and what am I doing to help that, and what is he doing to help that. There's, as coaching in college, it should be like this, right? It should be equals, right? Even in NFL, those like guys in the league a long time, they're basically the coach.
Yeah,
you're
they're way ahead of their coach.
I don't know if you've seen the Lakers, like the Ham dude, like gosh, you guys like. The guy's just there just to motivate. Like he's like LeBron James,
smiley faces.
Yeah, and like I think that's the way. Like if you've been playing football for all your life, that's the way it should be. Like you should know. You should be spending the time in the film room. You should be able to go in the playbook and be like, "No, coach, you drew that wrong. I drew this right," and defend yourself. See, that's the buy-in. That's called buying in. Is when you see something wrong, you correct it, and then but you also accept criticism from the coach when he sees something wrong in you.
Point the thumb.
Yeah. And it's iron sharpens iron. That's like the one thing I'm really passionate about with football and NIL and all this stuff is like everyone wants to play the blame game this way and stuff. My entire career, I didn't want to blame anybody except the person that I looked in the mirror at. Like that's the guy, that was who I wanted. Like at the end of the day, I wanted to do it my way, and it might not be the coach's way, and I'm trying to conform to them, but sometimes like it doesn't work. And you see that with a lot, like even Coach Rhule coming in and me buying in, like sometimes it works and you have a good season but it's just such a like a sensitive topic, especially with just coaching in general is just one of those things that gets messy really quick.
Yeah.
And because coaches all have the greatest intention of wanting to get the best out of your players, but sometimes the method that you're going about it is not the right one for the player at the time. And that's what I think Donnie does a beautiful job at, is being able to look at everyone in the room and individualize each way he coaches. And I think it's just, you have to be really smart and very socially aware of, and also know your shit. So
your learning style, believe it or not, might not be the same as Bryce Benhart's.
No,
like the way
I'm a
you want to be
science
coached.
teacher.
Right. Yeah.
These guys are all criminal justice major and business majors. I'm over here talking about organic chemistry.
Yeah.
I was like, if we didn't have football, we would not know each other that much. Like that's the cool thing about football too, is like I was and it's like your brotherhood. Like that's what, like, I think the game is like, where you try to build that, and that's what Coach Rhule is really good at, is building that brotherhood and bringing like family dinners, having my mom in the locker room. Like, that is something we have to talk about. Yeah, and like this whole thing of like Coach Rhule tries to build his guys up, and more so than any other coach. So I don't know. I think there's many different styles. Would that work in anywhere else except Nebraska? I don't know. Probably. I worked at Baylor, but didn't work at North Carolina. It's just weird things time up and how things are. So,
Mike, your note about his mom.
I think we're at a good part of the show. We have to ask. Okay, so we saw the videos, the university tees with your mom in there, everything else. You know, they cut some things out. Can you take us back in time and talk about what your mom said in the locker room?
No, I can't tell. My mom speaks for herself. So
we should have had her on with you.
Oh gosh, she all I know is that day, like, I was so like, I just got out of the hospital. I got hospital Thursday, and then Friday, I don't know what happened Friday because I was all over the place. And then that Saturday was like the first time I kind of like was conscious, and I call my mom and she was all worried about me. She was in Lincoln at the time. I said, just go to the game. I'm like, go to the Unity Walk. And I'm like, the guys need you. Like Justin Evans. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Love the dude. Like, second brother to me. Like, every time he calls my mom, like, mom. Like, and I was like, you need to go to those guys. And I said, I don't care. Like, I can't be there, but you be there. And then pretty soon I get my phone blowing up, and pretty soon I see my mom's like, I'm going in the locker room. I'm like, what is going on?
Mom, so you didn't know this was happening?
No, I had no idea. And like, I'm still on like Percocets and all this stuff for my knee and all this. It was bad. Like, I was numb, and I was like watching the game, and I'm like trying to do my best. And my mom is like in the locker room. I'm like, what? I'm like, what is going on? And then she's like, yeah, I just led the team out of the tunnel walk. I'm like, what is happening? What is happening?
Is this a fever dream?
You told her to go to the game.
Yeah, I just told her to go to the Unity Walk, and she's walking out. I'm like, and that's what I'm saying. That's like, no, but I don't know. I like, she's her own woman, and she is like, you talk about, I don't know, my stories are crazy. Her stories are even crazier than mine.
I love this.
She is.
We need Mama P on the pod.
She's saying that she's leading the team out of the locker room. You're like, I'm a player. I haven't even done that shit. How the hell are you doing?
Yeah. So
that's incredible.
No, it was awesome. So yeah, she's a good woman. So
yeah, like I said, I want to meet Mama P. That's all I got to say.
How special is that for you? You know, kind of like your first day of consciousness back, seeing the team. You're like, yeah, we're rallying around Mama P.
Oh my gosh! If anybody, I was like, you know, you could understand kind of how I am. I'm like, I had the greatest mom of all time.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, she's the first. She has to be the first mom. I didn't even research. I'm like, that is like an accomplishment in itself.
I can't recall any time that happened.
No, I'm like, you're like, I don't care, but for like mom status, you're legendary for Nebraska. So I was like, and that's the one thing that like, even going back to coaching, like Coach Rhule has given me is just like that memory of like, now I could watch that game, and there's so many videos of her leading the tunnel walk. I'm like, and like just being able to all the work and all the full body cramps and things I put into the program and the sacrifices I've made and broken bones and surgeries, like at least I gave my mom that.
Yeah.
And
that's freaking cool as hell.
It was. And it means a lot. So
that is the most Cornhusker thing I've ever heard. It's not about what you did on the field. It's not about the snaps you took, the wins you got, any of that. You just said every part of it was worth it to give your mom something.
Yeah.
That is
Happy Mother's Day.
so Nebraska.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I grew up with 3 sisters, and we've been I weed whacked and stuff. Like we've been through a lot as a family, and just being able to reciprocate like how much your family means to you
That's pretty.
Yeah. And that's like,
cool.
and that's what you do is like, that's why football has always been a good place for me, is because I felt like I've always been around family. And that's why I'm still in it and just trying to do what I want to do. So it's been just always trying to give back. So
you set the bar so high for me right now.
Yeah.
My mom got to walk me out at senior day in wrestling, and I lost. Like, your mom got to lead the tunnel walk. My mom, I guarantee, is watching right now. Like, this kid sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Fail, son.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Trust me. Me and my mom have been through some hard times. So like, it's yeah, it's all right. I'm the only boy, so she's got to deal with me. So
Yeah. Hey, you're her only mama's boy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
If,
awesome.
if she ever gets mad at you about anything in the future, you always just say, "What other Husker player in the history of Cornhusker football who had their mom do what they did?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm the only one, Mom.
Yeah.
You didn't weed whack the front. Locker room.
There's a wall, and when you're walking up that tunnel, there's this wall of all these team captains, right?
Yeah.
Where's Mama P at?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That she was the captain that day.
She could honestly, if she chose a different career, she'd probably be a football coach.
Yeah. I love that.
We were watching the rugby, the Olympic rugby team, girls. Oh my gosh. We were it was Sunday, and she was up at my house, and we're just watching it, and we were just going crazy. I'm like, Mom, if you didn't start a family, I think you'd have played that. So, she is a strong woman. So,
well, given the success of all of her children, I think she made the right choice.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, and I don't blame her. I just she's such a competitor.
I love it. I love it.
All right, KB, what time we at?
Yeah, we're it's closing time.
Okay.
We're at about an hour and 19 minutes. We've got 937 people in here.
Jeez.
Okay, well,
breaking records. We have to ask him about science. He has to give us some science facts.
Yep.
Because he told the Twitter sphere that he was going to do it.
Well,
so
it depends on what science we go into. Gosh, I don't even know. I'm specialized in so many different types of science. Like I'm broad field.
What's your favorite science?
Dinosaurs.
Okay,
there we go.
You got any dinosaur facts for us?
Okay, so dinosaur fact number 1, right? So everyone knows Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Velociraptors are not that size. They're a size about like a little bit bigger than a chicken, right?
What?
Yeah.
I've heard this. Yeah.
Yeah. The Utah raptor is the biggest raptor. Also, this I don't know. I love dinosaurs, and I could talk about this all day.
Please do.
But Tyrannosaurus Rex, right? That's like everyone's like that is
the T-Rex.
That's the man.
Let me guess. You're gonna say it wasn't as big as everybody said.
No,
I know right
it was bigger.
Oh,
it was heavier. Like it was like so. Like it was like the T-Rex in the movie, just a little bit shorter but fatter. Like the proportionals, like it was like a bear.
Wow.
And the thing, it wouldn't roar, right?
Mhm.
What they're saying is like they're this is all hypothetical, which makes it fun, but like growl, like low growls, kind of like like that, and
Click
it was
that.
silent, and it would not it was smart enough that it would like just come up to you. Like everyone wants to hear the roar and like chases after you. It would see you and just like come up to you and then just bite you, and like it's way
swallow you.
Yeah, it's way scarier than the movies. Like,
yeah.
it's like a oh gosh, what's the guy from The Office? The quiet shoot.
Not Creed.
Creed.
No.
Toby.
I
Come on,
can't think of
Mike.
his name.
This is Mike's.
I'm waiting for more.
No,
more,
like
description.
the silent. No, gosh, the not quiet place. What's the?
Oh, you talking
Jim
about?
Krasinski.
Yeah, Jim. Yeah, what movie?
No, Jeff Krasinski.
Whatever.
Jim's his name in the office.
What's the movies?
A Quiet Place.
Quiet. Is it Quiet Place?
Yeah, Quiet
Okay,
Place.
yeah, the Quiet Place. I haven't seen
Like
that
you
movie.
can't make a noise,
Yeah,
or else.
That's what basically the Cretaceous period was.
Yeah.
So,
I do gotta say, when I was a younger lad, I did want to be a paleontologist.
oh yeah.
Like when Jurassic Park came out in '93, I want to be a paleontologist. Like my mom would bribe me.
He was 18 at the time.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
he's so.
When I was potty
Look how old
training,
he
when I was potty training,
Yeah.
she would bribe me with Jurassic Park memorabilia. Like if you poop, you get this. There you go.
Yeah.
Like I said, 18 at the time. One of my
So?
favorite. We bring up T-Rexes.
Yeah.
That's right.
I got dinosaur facts too.
Oh, say them.
I love telling people that humans, like 200,000 years, are closer to the T-Rex than the T-Rex was to the Stegosaurus.
Yeah.
People don't realize
They
that.
don't realize how big, like the Triassic, Jurassic, and then Cretaceous
It's-
period is a long period of time.
Tens of millions of
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, like, crocodiles haven't changed. Like,
No.
like
They were the same size then.
the saltwater crocodile, like that thing would have been around when the dinosaurs were around. Now it might look a little bit different, but like the same biology and same kind of like general idea of the saltwater crocodile was the same back then. Like it's crazy.
They had it figured out. They didn't need to evolve.
Yeah, no, they really
No,
didn't.
no, they
Like,
didn't.
figured it out.
No, they're super specialized. I saw something the other day just talking about the crocodile's eye, and it's just like
There's like
The
three
most
eyelids.
evolved that like you see it open and
yeah,
close.
but like
There's like three eyelids.
it
for
just
them.
makes sense. Like evolution, you've got 300 million years. of just
Yeah, you
untouched.
probably
Like
got it good.
Yeah, imagine if humans were around that long.
Hey.
We'd look
Only
way
way
different.
cooler.
Yeah.
The cockroach, baby.
yeah. So that's why I love evolution biology. So, but yeah, it's kind of funny, the Charles Darwin and Catholic. And me, it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, right.
everyone's like,
Interesting.
So-
How old is the Earth, Ethan Piper?
Oh, it's pretty old.
That's all you need to say. That's all you need to say. It's pretty old. Like,
Yep, it's pretty
really
old. Really old.
Really old.
Older than my grandma. So.
It's older than my grandma. Who was a young, like right.
Okay. Hey, anybody else?
Do we have any good questions, comments in the chat? I know we've got plenty of people that tuned in.
Oh no, I've seen him like shake his head, laugh.
Yeah,
Like,
he's like in
mouth-
his own little world
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've had people calling Ethan Piper certified dog. That's Coach BA.
BAWG.
Realistically, like, I think people have just been like zoned in on this episode because we have not had a whole lot of comments. It's a lot of people kind of like agreeing with points that have been made. And as far as questions are concerned, there's really not a whole lot of them. I will say there's a comment in here that says, could you imagine the behemoth of that behemoth of a man running down on high school kickoff?
No. Yeah. That was about that. The Eric McKay News Channel Nebraska. did
Yeah.
Something. And that's when like I kind of blew up like in high school. And the quote for the longest time was hide your women and children.
Yeah.
I got it was weird. Like being a Division I player in the C1 and like especially being a big guy. So
Right.
yeah.
I meant to make this point earlier. I think Finebaum's punishment should be 10 snaps in a row lined up across from Ethan Piper.
Oklahoma drill.
Yeah, I was. Gosh,
How much would you enjoy that?
I feel for the guy. He's trying to make a name for himself. Like but like,
I love that.
I think he just. I'm not a big guy that's violent off the field. Like,
Yeah,
I might get worked up, but I don't want to do any violence. But it would be fun. Like, I was like, how old is he? Like,
Dude, he's probably in his
He's
60s.
mid-60s.
I was gonna
Funny.
say I could call up some people that are like mechanics that probably like his age that would probably go against him. I was
He's
like,
the
they
whole
got
other
him over here.
Norfolk would get him.
Yeah,
Well, it's funny because the day after his little tirade was his birthday.
yeah,
He turned
Oh,
69, of course.
yeah.
Nice.
hilarious.
Haha.
Okay. Anything else, guys?
That's it.
I think we're good.
No, I did just thanks again for coming on the podcast. And I want to thank you for giving back you said football was kind of like your outlet.
Yeah.
And now you're coaching football and giving back to the next generation.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's another kid in Columbus that's going to be, wearing the scarlet and cream in the future.
Hopefully. And that's the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All you people out there, almost 1,000.
Yeah. 992.
All right. Hey, if you're out there, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube, please do that. We're trying to get to 1,000. We're trying to get face tats for Mike.
Face tat.
He's gonna get
Mike will get a face tat at 1,000 YouTube subscribers. He said that. It was off air.
People get like little teardrops. He's gonna get a little corn cob there. So that's what we're doing.
Won't that be neat?
Why are you laughing? What's funny? What?
No regrets.
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the same handle.
Yeah.
NBNR podcast. Go look us up. Please give us a follow. 5-star review on Spotify, all that stuff. We would appreciate it. But the thing we appreciate the most, Ethan Piper making the time. Thank you so much again. We appreciate your sacrifices and all your hard work and your cramps and whatever, the breaking showers, whatever. We appreciate you.
He didn't break the shower. He broke the bench.
Broke the bench.
2 separate things.
And the shower could have broke him and it didn't. So
well, again, thank you. And hey, go Big Red.
Go Big Red. Awesome.
All right.
are we going to sign off?
Yeah, we should probably do that. Also, I think do we need to beat UTEP?
Yeah, that too.
I'm one of your hosts, Jared Hall.
Mike Delaware.
Connor Cavalack.
Kyle Byers.
Ethan Piper.
As always, beat UTEP and GBR.
Sure.